Happy 2026. I said that I wasn't going to be posting a new video today, but man, holidays are my least favorite days out of the year. They truly are, along with weekends as well. When you go ahead and position your life around stuff that you love to do, such as you pick a job, a career, build a business, monetize whatever you love to do in life, you will find that days off, such as the weekends or holidays where the stock market is closed, it's going to be your least favorite time out of the year. And doing that is going to keep your mind, your soul, your body strong, mentally fit, and it's just going to overall better your life. A lot of people, they get in bad cycles, bad rhythms. They stay with a job that is utterly killing them for well longer than they should be in that job. By all means, I am a firm believer that yes, we all have to work the terrible jobs in our life, but working a terrible job should not be for the rest of your life until you theoretically, quote unquote, retire, and also pretty much am ready to leave this dimension. Working a terrible job for X amount of months, maybe years, is supposed to make you go ahead and propel you forward to get into an area of life where you actually love doing what you do. I'm a very big advocate of spreading happiness, motivation. That's what you're going to find on this channel here. And like I said previously, I really wasn't planning on posting a new video today. But I just really feel great and awesome. Not to mention I have actually given up drinking alcohol. Not given up drinking water. That would be very bad. I would probably more than likely be dead after, if I stop drinking water and only drink beer, I don't even want to know what would happen to me. I would probably feel good for the first couple days. Then I would probably, you're probably not going to feel very well later on. Okay, rambling on a little bit too much here. So, if you've been following me along for the last couple months since I've been posting on this channel, I created this channel last year, April timeframe, just to really mess around. This is not my first time on YouTube. I actually have other YouTube channels, believe it or not. I haven't fully disclosed this channel with my much larger YouTube channels and the hundreds of thousands of subscribers. But I will more than likely do that later, probably near the end of this month here. But otherwise, yeah, I'm just a average Joe retail trader, retail investor, 37 years old here. I've been through a lot in my life, straight out of high school, joined the military background, United States Marine Corps. Ended up doing a little bit over 15 years, ended up medically retiring, separated. I had a pretty bad gym injury that ended up costing me my career. But in actuality, honestly, it was for the better, because around the 2022 timeframe, there was a lot of politics. I really want to keep politics out of this channel, but it is very hard to do so, especially when dealing with the stock market, because everything is political like you cannot imagine. But I am an American bull, an American patriot. I love my great country. And even if you're watching from a different country, you should love your country as well, too. I had the luxury of being stationed overseas, living overseas in Germany for about 2 years. And, it's everywhere I went, the German people, they loved their country. Been to the Middle East on a couple deployments, Afghan vet here. This is actually a photo of me, my last, Afghan deployment, 2019. Have a lot less gray hairs, and 2019 was This was November 2019. You're talking about 5.5 years ago ish. Yeah, I have way more gray hairs now. But people in the Middle East, they love their country. And I mean, hey, you should love your country, be a patriot. The government is very different than the actual country itself. When it comes to stock trading, just like how a stock price is different than a company, because you can have a great company and you can have a terrible stock price, and vice versa. You can have a great stock price and you can also have what did I just say? My Mets. I drank way too much alcohol in my 20s. Sorry, my brain cells are a little shot here. You can have a great company in the stock market and a terrible stock price. You could have a great stock price, but a terrible company. Now, when it comes in actuality, if the federal government is more like the company itself or the stock price, that's very much debatable. But it just really goes to show you. So this is pretty much who I am here. Like I said, I'm not some big wig investor here. Been in the stock market, got into the stock market actually during the Rona crash, 2020. 2020, 21, I made life-changing money. A little bit over 100K to well beyond multiple hundreds of thousands. I didn't know what the hell I was doing in 2020, 21. I just literally bought the COVID stocks that were so fearful, and I made a ton of money. I bought the airline stocks that were down significantly. The airline stocks recovered by going up by well over 100, some as 200%. I bought one company I ended up making over 300% on. A $15,000 investment turned into tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars. Viacom CBS, that was also hated. Other ones were the cruise line stocks, some beauty stocks as well. So just that's all I really did. 2022, I started to really get into technical analysis, also fundamental analysis. I am a technical analysis trader. Moving averages are very important, but I also believe in fundamental analysis too. Everything when it comes to the company, because if you listen to conference calls, which so many people do not do, you listen to the conference calls of CEOs, you see where the company could be going. And hey, there's companies here that I'm going to be talking about momentarily, and their CEOs have stated, hey, we're going through a transformation right now, but we're gonna get through this sluggish tunnel. And one position that I own, I was buying early last year when it was hated. It's not very hated anymore. No, it's pretty funny. 2022, got into all that. 2023, I got my ass whooped. Was doing a lot in the penny stock realm. 24, profitable again. 2020, 21, 22, profitable. 23, not profitable. I ended up finishing in the red. 24, and also last year, 2025, in the money. Sending a check to the a-holes at the IRS. Taxation is theft, in my opinion. Oh, yes, it is. We work very hard, and we pay a lot of nonsense taxes, and unfortunately, our tax dollars, they go overseas. When we have a lot of people here in America that need a lot of help, and our country needs to really heal from the debauchery that we went through with a lot of endless wars, significantly. That really should not be a political topic. Wars are not good. Any way you look at them, it's really not. But it's a shocker on how you have people that are just very much chanting war all the time. Okay, so pretty much covers who I am. The videos on this channel, if you do subscribe, are going to be probably all over the place. This is going to be fairly lengthy, but typically I like to keep these videos relatively short, maybe under 25 minutes-ish. I respect your guys' time. I really do. I understand people's time are very valuable, but there's a lot to talk about, and it's very hard for me to condense stuff. This is not YouTube 2008 anymore. I actually been making videos on YouTube since 2008. YouTube in 2008 was very like TikTok today. Videos were very short. Videos went extremely viral by being short. Typically, videos today go viral by actually being very long, believe it or not. A lot of podcasts, a lot of episodes and stuff like that. So I'm going to try to keep these short, but there are sometimes I just really can't. Okay, so on to my second point here. Why am I doing this, or rather, what am I doing? So I'm doing a public profile account challenge here. Pretty much taking a decent amount of cash. I am a big believer in buying the fear. I'm going to be saying that a lot on this channel. Yes, buying the fear. I bought the fear in 2020 and I made life-changing money. I then continued buying the fear in 2021. It worked out. 22, it was really 50-50 for me. 23, I bought the wrong type of fear when it really came down to it. I bought a lot of hope instead of legitimate like fear in a way, such as stocks that are like very much beaten down, that are extremely profitable, that their growth rates just really slowed down. 24, I was buying the fear. You know, last summer in 2024, nobody wanted to buy stocks. I was at bars, I was at social events, I was at one of my best friend's wedding, and I asked everyone, hey, are you buying stocks? No. We got to see what happens after the election. Wrongo. Well, I was buying stocks before the election, and then after the election, I started selling stocks. You're never going to buy at the bottom. You're never going to sell at the top. You got to remember that, okay? Are you a profitable trader? Are you a profitable investor? It is a yes or no answer. And if you say no, you're doing something wrong. If you say yes, ignore the noise and stick to your game plan, okay? I sold a little bit too early. I started shedding stock literally like 2 weeks after President Trump was elected, or it's President-elect President Trump. So I started selling shares. I ended up selling all my shares right around end of January, February. Could have held on to some of them a little longer. And then I bought the massive fear of Liberation Day. Bought the fear. I sold again a little bit too early. I sold end of June around my birthday, and also July. I should have waited probably until August, September. But guess what? The last month and a half here, I have deposited on my Bung profile. This is going to be my public profile account challenge. I've deposited over $25,000 of cash. In the last nearly 2 months, I have bought between this account and also my private account well over $30,000 of cash. I am very much not under invested in the market. I still am sitting on a lot of cash reserves that I can very much get in more and pretty much go all in as a scenario here. But the overall account challenge is taking this number to 100K. So you basically pretty much just say, hey, I'm doing a non-gambling in a way really account challenge. Currently don't have any options, pretty much just straight shares. I do not use margin. I have never used margin. I don't believe in margin. I believe it's bad JoJo. Margin, in my opinion, is really using a credit card in a way with even more risk. And yes, I do understand people have made life-changing money on margin, but people have also lost life-changing money on margin. You got to remember that, okay? You got to remember that. Because if you take life-changing money and you go ahead and buy a stock at the all-time high, and that stock crashes because there's a recession, chances are that stock very could recover, especially if the management team is phenomenal. But if you do margin with life-changing money at all-time highs, one big volatile swing could cost you everything. So that's very real and it's very dangerous. There's not a lot of education around the entire big risk of that too. But I'm doing this basically for a couple reasons. And let's go ahead and dive into those reasons meow right here. Okay, so 2026 Bung Profile Challenge. A lot of other YouTubers, they do this like, I mean, there are billionaires on YouTube. There are 9-figure investors, traders on YouTube. There are 8 figures, 7 figures, 6 figures. There's even 5 figures as well. It doesn't matter what type of moolah that you have. The same principles apply to everything. You can have a couple $100, take a couple $100 to 1,000. You can have a couple thousand, take it to 10,000. You can have several 10,000, take it to 100. You can have a couple hundred, take it to 1,000,000. Okay, the same rules apply. You don't FOMO on in. You take a step back. You always have a plan. You always zoom out. And you be patient. And you buy the fear. Okay? If you are investing for the long term, you buy the fear and you pick up discounted shares for long-term investments. If you are trading something, you buy the fear, you sell the dip. You buy the fear, you sell the rip. Oh man. Woo! Okay, maybe I should keep these videos under like 20 minutes. My brain's going a little crazy here. I keep things real. I try not to edit videos because I really do believe that when you speak from your heart, it matters the most. And YouTube algorithm is really all about high editing. Don't really give a rat's bum about analytics in the terms of like video views. If these videos reach people in a good manner, not people that are looking just for a quick buck in the stock market, then you're gonna understand my sense of humor and understand my raw dog behavior. Yeah, like I said, speaking from your heart, not really editing per se, not adding in something here and there is the best way to really go, in my opinion. Okay, so basically some rules that we are going to be following here on this public account challenge. Taking this profile to 6 figures in the course 12 to 18 months. I actually forgot to add that in here. So there's basically just very simple rules that I am giving myself for the next 12 to 18 months. Firstly, why am I doing this? Once again, to better my life, to build wealth, to motivate others, and to really make it a visual aspect that you can be at any type of dollar amount, and you can go from a couple hundred to a 1,000. You can go from a couple thousand to 10,000. You can go from several tens of thousands to 100, etc., etc. It doesn't matter how much moolah that you are swinging. The same principles apply. It's about picking companies that you trust. You're not running on hope, because when you hope the management team executes, that's when things become gambling. But when you follow a management team that is executing, hey, we kind of did something a little bad here. We're going to fix it next quarter. Stock crashes. The CEO literally just said they're going to fix it next quarter. Give me those shares. Give me those shares. Give me those shares. Give me a break. Okay. So rule number 1, I am going to be depositing $125 per week into this account. So 4 times per month, I'm going to be funneling money into this account, and I'm going to be buying stock just about every single week, with some exceptions. Obviously, if the stock market is going up like crazy, I'm not going to be buying any stock. I'm just going to be building a cash position. And it's very important for people to understand this, Because if you see a deal and the stock market is going up like crazy, and if there's a stock that is at a deal, a steal of a deal, yes, that is phenomenal. But if all the stocks that you are watching and following are going up and FOMOing, the better option could just be to build cash for when those stocks come down. A lot of people forget that. If you do not see a deal, you just build cash. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes cash is king. It really is. And I've been talking about this in the last couple weeks. January this month is going to be a coin toss. We're going to get more into that here momentarily. Okay, so the next one. Max cash deposit $5,000 per 4 months. So I talked about this last week. So hypothetically, if January is a sell-off like we cannot imagine, I am going to deploy the $2,500 that I have left over. I actually have to go ahead and deposit 100. Actually, hold on one second. Where's my calendar? Okay, so next week, Monday is going to be the first actual week of January. Yeah, January is very weird. It's a very long month. January 5th, 12th, 19, and 26 are the official weeks. So next week, January 5th, I'm going to be depositing $125 for my first week of a deposit here. Because I don't want to go because some months are like but we are starting here on Thursday. But so every Monday I'll deposit $125. Keep it simple. However, during these 4 months, January to April, May to August, September and December, if the market falls off a cliff, I'm going to be depositing $5,000. If I go ahead and do this, I have to decrease the amount of time to this challenge of 100K. So if I deploy a extra $5,000, a extra $10,000, it's not fair for me to do a 18-month account challenge, because then I got more skin in the game. I got to decrease that time to 12 months. However, hypothetically, if this market in January just maybe it continues going sideways and then we just boom, rocket. Obviously, the account challenge is going to be 18 months. So a little less than 40K to 100K in 18 months. That is more than reasonable to do. If anything, that may actually be a little bit too easy with some of these companies if they do execute and continue to grow the way that they have been growing. If we get another double-digit market return on the SPY for 2026, a lot of my positions are going to go parabolical. So it's not unrealistic for 12 months here. But if I deposit more cash, obviously we gotta bring down the Bung profile challenge to 12 months instead of 18 months here. But yeah, I will be publicly talking about the stock that I buy each week. So I'm not just gonna, be secretly, doing that and stuff. Okay, so we talked about why, talked about the rules here. Let's go ahead and talk about the positions that I am in here. And, okay, oops, actually, this was a misclick, but this is even better. So, yesterday's video, if you haven't saw, Google Gemini actually predicted this for the end of 2026 for their current growth rates. Now, Google Gemini, of course, does not take into consideration, obviously, an easy monetary policy of the Federal Reserve, cutting more rates, printing more money. We have Jerome Powell leaving in May. The new Fed chair is going to be political. He or she is going to be loyal to the Trump administration. It's all politics. Give me a break, okay? Like, if you say it's not going to be political, it's going to be political. It is 100% going to be political. So we got to take that into consideration here. Now, as for this account, as we see here, what I've it's I can go ahead and talk about predictions, but I don't really like doing long-term predictions. I just really stick to what the management team is giving us, what their forecast for the future is, and the trust that I've built around these people. SoFi. This is my SoFi is my largest position here. SoFi is also my largest position on my private profile. My private profile is massive. My average on my private profile is $7.41. Sitting on over 250% gain, tens and tens of thousands of dollars. I believe it's close to a $50,000 position on that profile. Massive. AMD, though, is my largest on cost basis. Notice how AMD is not ran up like SoFi here. It's kind of really humorous because Webull is not like the best because Webull is very much I'm a video gamer. Webull is very much like video gaming like friendly, but showing it on like YouTube is not really the best sometimes. My main profile is Robinhood. Robinhood is so very simple to actually show and use here. But I do like a lot of Webull's feature, especially the ability to trade stocks at 4 a.m. Eastern Standard is also a sweet spot. So on here, I was buying SoFi on Liberation Day. I bought some SoFi last month when they dipped down below $25. AMD has not even made a massive run. SoFi, you have accelerating growth like crazy. The management team has to get to $45 before June to receive a massive bonus. Anthony Noto, the CEO, is going to be getting 120 something million by getting the stock to that price. You're telling me the management team is not going to fight tooth or nail? Like, of course they will. I would if I was their CEO. AMD, the second half of the year could be massive, although we could see maybe a lot of FOMO into the first half of the year. So AMD may go off to the races very early and then stagger the last. Meta has been beaten down because they're just spending more money than they're generating. This past earnings, Meta produced more money ever, but they're also so the CEO Mark Zuckerberg, who I trust, he said, "Hey, we're going to pull back on spending. The stock is undervalued." Palantir goes down in history. I traded Palantir so many. I've traded Palantir. I think this is my fifth time in Palantir. Should have just held Palantir when I was buying it in the teens. I was buying it in the 14, 15, 16, sold in the high 20s, got back in the 30s, sold in the 60s, 100%, got back in Liberation Day, and then sold in the 160s, now back in. I believe I was also in Palantir before Liberation Day again, too. Got to go ahead and look back. But regardless, I've made a lot of money in Palantir. If I had held Palantir in the teens, life-changing money. I learned my lesson with that one. Adobe, first-time shareholder, AI sales record-breaking, especially Black Friday and also Cyber Monday. Looking very happy for this. Hood, a lot of fear. Robinhood, last month, I was up by over 25% on this position. Now I'm barely up on Robinhood. I might be adding some Robinhood shares here very soon, especially next week. So I'll keep you all tuned. Honest Company, their CEO stated that they're going through a transformation on their balance sheet. They're getting rid of products that don't sell, like maybe this glass of water, and they're going to products that are doing well. Hey, who went through a transformation on their balance sheet back in 2024? SoFi! What happened? Oh, Honest is a risk-on play for me. I consider my Honest position here to really be a gamble. because things can go south, in my opinion, but I may add to them. Last month I was up by over 10%. This is kind of really trickled down here. PayPal. I've owned PayPal before, made a little bit of money. I actually bought PayPal in the 70s, sold in the 90s. I'm actually really excited to be a PayPal shareholder. People call this one PayPal. I've been using PayPal my entire life. This company is still growing. It's been beaten down here, so I may kick this position up significantly. They just also applied to be a bank as well, which is going to be awesome. They're looking to be a fintech essentially. So I'm very, very excited to be a shareholder of PayPal here. Like I said, these positions on this profile, it's not gambling. I may very well get into some long-term options here in the next couple weeks, depending what the stock market does. When I say long-term options, I'm not talking about weekly options. I'm not talking about daily options. I'm not talking about even options that expire in like a couple months. I'm talking about like maybe options out maybe 7, 8, to even maybe like 12 months. Anything over 12 months are leaps, essentially. Anything under would still not be a leap, but when you do options around like especially 7, 8, 9 months, it's a little more safety is there for you. Okay, I think this pretty much wraps it up for this video here, this Bung profile. Hopefully everyone watching, you're excited. I should have said this in the beginning of the video. I'm not a I am not a financial advisor. I'm a small business owner, and I'm among many other things as well. I'm also an author, believe it or not. Yeah, that's pretty much about it. You can basically pretty much build your life and accumulate wealth, accumulate happiness. You just got to ignore the noise, and you just got to be happy, stick with your principles. And like I said, I'm a very big advocator of massive self-love, self-pride, self-esteem to the heavens. Be safe, everyone. I'll be making a new video tomorrow. Maybe I'll even be buying some stock tomorrow, depending what this market does. Take it easy and later.